This is it. The final video in the countdown to the big reveal. In the last episode of How Bad Could It Be, I asked you guys to pick what you thought I should cover for the last entry of the 10-day movie marathon. What did you pick? Well, it's a mystery, isn't it? Only time will tell. Now watch in amazement as I review. It's The Room. It's obviously The Room. I mean, it's in the title of the video. You know, I wanted it to be a surprise, but with like algorithms and keywords, man's got to be up front on YouTube these days now. You can't just put "gone sexual" in the title and make the millions anymore. I blame millennials. So why The Room? Well, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't actually the most suggested thing. A lot of people wanted me to do my favourite movie, presumably because you guys know that writing and editing a video every single day while trying to fit in real life is a really exhausting process, and you're all just real swell guys who wanted me to end on a happy note. A lot of you also wanted me to do my least favourite movie, presumably because you want me to suffer and hate gingers, you massive racists. Yes, we're a race. The Ginger Council held a meeting. Rupert Grint was there with the official gingerbread staff. He decreed that we'd be henceforth known as a united people, and then we danced the traditional ginger jive in the ceremonial orange paint. It was a great day for my people. It was beautiful. I cried twice. Don't try and take it away from me. Now, although there was a lot of requests for my favourite and least favourite movies, I thought about doing them, but I don't think I could really do justice to those in just a day's prep, so one time in the future for sure, since I know you guys are interested, but not right now. However, there was also a lot of other requests for The Room, and I was considering it amongst the other stuff, but the comment that made me decide this is definitely the one I was going to cover was actually this. Please don't do The Room. It's so overdone. Know what, fella? I agree with you, which is why I'm about to attempt to do The Room review I don't think I've ever seen. So from here on out, I am going to talk about this film with a deep and unironic love, passion, and admiration for the whole thing. That's right, we're going to be talking about how fucking brilliant it is, and how much it sincerely means to me, and the whole art of film in general. No, I'm not being sarcastic. Wait, what do you... Get your fucking hands off that unsubscribe button. Give us like a minute, man. Jesus. Look, I'm not saying The Room is a good film. It's not. It's fucking horrendous. Make no mistake about that. For those of you who somehow don't know this film's legacy, this thing has been dubbed the Citizen Kane of bad movies. A completely misguided attempt at a psychological drama with a nonsensical plot, characters who have the oddest motivations, and acting so spectacularly bad it makes every time my dad said, "Seriously son, I haven't been drinking today," seem Oscar-worthy by comparison. Now, spoilers ahead, but trust me, don't let that put you off, because no matter how crazy someone tells you a roller coaster is, they can never spoil the experience of taking the ride. This film follows director, producer, writer and star Tommy Wiseau playing Johnny, a successful banker deeply in love with his fiancée Lisa. We know they're in love because in the opening 10 minutes we watch them have awkward rose sex multiple times as Johnny prods his knob in her belly button while the shot uncomfortably holds on his bony ass, gently bobbing up and down for way too long. Then everything goes wrong for the couple when Lisa turns out to be an inexplicable bitch and decides, despite literally everything being perfect between them, to suddenly get bored, harbour deep, hateful resentment for her soon-to-be husband, and start an elaborate affair with Johnny's best mate Mark, despite no real motivation and a scolding from her own mother, who is dying of cancer, by the way, which the audience discovers after this touching, heartfelt monologue.
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
Look, don't worry about it. Everything will be fine.
God, I hope she's okay. We'll never know, of course, because this never gets mentioned again. Not even once. Anyway, the affair gets found out about and Johnny shoots himself. And, yeah, credits. That's it. That's the whole plot. Dude's fiancée cheats on him and he shoots himself. Oh yeah, other stuff happens, but absolutely none of it is relevant or means anything. For example, there's a whole subplot about this kid that hangs around Johnny like some kind of child-sized leech, where a dude pulls a gun on him over some drug issue, but Mark and Johnny just take the guy away. The situation is resolved almost immediately after it's brought up. As far as we are aware, they don't like beat him up or have him arrested or anything since the return moments later. They just kind of take him off screen like he's your drunken relative at a wedding and he's making a scene. Whoa there, Granda, put the gun down, mate. Come on, you've had a bit too much to drink there. However, let's get you in a taxi, lad. Just like the cancer thing, this is also never brought up again. We also have a scene where the film stops so everyone can stand around in tuxedos, inches from each other, and pass around a football. In another instance of oddness, one actor drops out halfway through filming, so they just give all his remaining lines to some dude called Steven, who never gets an introduction, but we're just expected to accept. Other randomness includes two characters we've never seen before sneak into Johnny's house and, do this. And this whole production is held together by the shoddiest editing and most baffling creative decisions in the world, as we recurringly randomly cut away to ridiculously long pans of the Golden Gate Bridge, characters get into heated bouts of passion and then switch to be immediately calm, the dialogue consistently bursts into unintentional gold, and even something as simple as a scene where Johnny picks up some flowers can become immortally etched into the collective memories of pop culture enthusiasts everywhere when it's assembled like this.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
What the fuck was that? Jesus, that was so wrong. I can't even begin to process that. I could do a full-length single video just on breaking down the clunkiness of that scene alone, and the whole film is this consistently bad. I'm abridging and missing chances to go in depth on a lot of this because, as any of you who have seen it will know, you can take any single minute from the 1 hour 40 minute runtime and make a video essay just on that. But here's the thing I really want to get across here. This movie is great. And this is way more than just that so bad it's good thing. Loads of films are bad. Transformers 2 is bad. Gigli is bad. Catwoman is bad. Laughably bad even. But not in the same way as The Room is. And you might argue, oh yeah, but The Room is on another level. Sure, but there's films out there just as bad as, if not far worse than The Room. The Garbage Pail Kids movie. Mac and Me, Ballistic, X vs. Sever. What the fuck is up with that title? Nobody cares about those films. The list goes on. Jack and Jill, Battlefield Earth, that fucking animated Titanic one with the rapping dog scene. These are all horrible films. Films just as bad as Wiseau's Master of Disaster, but no one cares about them. Sure, they might be brought up as a joke every now and then, you know, a quick punchline to be laughed at, but the difference between them and The Room is, I'm not laughing at The Room. I'm laughing with it. When I say that, I don't mean I think that this thing is secretly some metatextual smart satire and you all just don't get it. As I've already stated, it's bad. But there's something that separates The Room from the others, something that makes it special, and I know exactly what it is. And this is going to seem like some lame-ass hippie shit, but I am absolutely 100% telling you, it's love. I swear to God, I know it sounds like a load of twaddle, but this is absolutely the case. People who love their films, like truly, madly love them, will find their films loved in return. Think about it. The Room is not alone in this. Ed Wood made a career out of passionately pursuing terrible ideas, and I watched a cult screening of Plan 9 from Outer Space just last year. Half a century later, they're still showing that. Do you think something like Crocodile 2 would ever get a cinema screening 50 years on? Would it fuck? But they're just as bad as each other. Neil Breen is making absolutely horrendous films like Double Down, and he loves them. So people love them. So much so he was able to crowdfund over $3,000 for his next one. I know what you're thinking, $3,000 isn't much in the overall scheme of things, but you gotta remember people are giving this money to something they know is going to be horrendously awful. Really awful ideas attempt for funding all the time and often make nothing. But if you love what you make, somebody out there will love it too, enough to give you cash for it. James Wen made his film Birdemic on less than $10,000 and it was garbage. People went mad for it because he loved it. Apparently enough to promote it by, if the stories are true, personally handing out flyers from a van covered in stuffed birds and misspelled website addresses. And I'll tell you what really proves my point. Do you know what nobody really cares about? Birdemic 2. It's just as awful and just as laughably bad as the first one, but there's one crucial difference that stops it from getting as much attention from audiences. It's a cash-in, a novelty creation to leech off the success of the first film. It's not got the heart, it's not got the earnesty, it's not a project of love. No better film to me proves this hypothesis more than The Room though. The Room is genuinely inspirational. It's my favourite heartwarming story. It's the physical proof of this idea. When Tommy Wiseau made this film, he loved it. He adored it. It was his baby. He's so passionate about this thing, he poured his essence into it. It just happens to be that his essence is a really weird dude. I mean, listen to some of the behind the scenes stuff on this thing. The film was based on an unpublished 540-page novel written by Wiseau himself. Dude put effort into this. He'd been wanting this for a long time. According to Sestero and Greg Ellery, Wiseau came to the Burns and Sawyer film lot, rented a studio, and bought a complete beginning director package, which included the purchase of 2 brand new film and HD cameras. Wiseau, confused about the difference between 35mm film and high definition video, decided to shoot the entire film in both formats simultaneously, using a custom built apparatus that housed both cameras side by side and required 2 crews to operate. The guy had no idea what he was doing, but he didn't let that stop him for a second. If that's not real, sincere filmmaking, I don't know what is. The best directors always say go out and make stuff. It might suck, but you're doing it. You're not just talking about it, you know? And Tommy did just that. Listen to this. Wiseau intended for the film to contain a subplot in which Johnny was revealed to be a vampire. Sestero recounts how, at the outset of production, Wiseau tasked members of the crew with figuring out a way to execute a sequence in which Johnny's Mercedes-Benz would lift off from the roof of the townhouse and fly across the San Francisco skyline, revealing Johnny's vampiric nature. Wiseau eventually decided to drop the subplot after learning that there was no practical way to film the flying car scene on the production's budget. Holy shit, is that dumb, but how raw is that? Just turning up to shoot and being like, guys, I know you've never done effects before, but let's all band together and try to suss how to make this car fly, yeah? So unprofessional, so unprepared, so insane, but on the other hand, so filled with a kind of naive, experimental curiosity. This kind of story is like when kids who go on to become passionate and talented filmmakers pick up the camera for the first time and just kind of wing it and see whatever the fuck they can do. The Room is one of my favourite stories, not the plot, the creation. It's an almost physical proof of the concept that if you put enough love and adoration into something, it will pay off. No one wants to make a bad movie. No one sets out to create a critical failure. But I do feel like certain people go in to make a cash grab, or start with honest intentions but become disheartened as time goes on. Shit went terribly for Wiseau throughout this whole production. He was sacking guys left, right and centre. He was paying millions for shit he didn't need. He clearly never had the slightest fucking clue what the hell he was doing, but he loved it. And it reeks of that misguided love through every second it's on screen. And look at the response. The Room is celebrated for its badness. It's adored in its insanity. It's been regularly screened at cinemas for 15 years. 15 fucking years! Can you imagine making anything that so deeply resonates with an audience that it's still popular to continuously go and see it after 15 years? People don't throw that kind of attention on utter shit like The Last Airbender or Movie 43 or Food Fight. This is a significantly different So Bad It's Good compared to sticking on a copy of Blood Fart Lake one time to riff on with friends and then forgetting about it forever. This is more than a meme, it's a movement. For more than a decade, people have been turning up to screenings dressed as characters, interacting with dialogue, throwing spoons at the screen with manic delight, and Wiseau loves it all. He's in on the joke now. He's doing stage plays and signing DVDs. He's a genuine inspiration, and so is his work. However delusional he might be, and no matter how much he missed the mark, he went into this thing with such earnesty and sincerity and this heartfelt desire to make art that against all odds, he fucking did it. It wasn't the art he wanted, but if art is just something that elicits a feeling, then there are very few films that match the utter joy that The Room brought to hundreds of thousands of people. His passion has rung through the whole thing and can be felt in the massive community keeping this film alive. I love The Room. I see it every opportunity I can get. He has me looking like an utter dweeb in 2011, interviewing two guys who dressed up as the main man for a cult film night in Newcastle. Look at how much fun we're having. It's so much more than just a joke. If everybody went into projects with as much passion as Tommy Wiseau had for The Room, then everything would be better. And at the start of this video, I said I wasn't going to be reviewing my favourite movie. Well, it looks like maybe after all, I just did. Nah, I'm fucking with you. That's Back to the Future. I'm not a fucking idiot, but The Room's pretty cool. Well, shit. Here we are. 10 reviews in 10 days. What a fucking ride, man. Sorry if this one wasn't funny. I just got so distracted writing it and getting genuinely excited. Basically, what I'm saying is I just love movies. Even the bad ones, you know. Every film is an absolute miracle when you think about the amount of stuff that goes into making something across multiple people from multiple backgrounds, all with completely different skills. Just think about how difficult it is getting everyone to come together, finding funding, and having them all like work on this single piece of art. It's staggering that even so much as a single film exists. They're so difficult. The idea that a bunch of people who maybe have never even met before can come together and after years of planning and months of execution come out the other end with even anything remotely comprehensible across all those different ideas and creative decisions to show for it, against the magnitude of things that could go wrong, is miraculous. This is going to sound cheesy, but movies, TV shows, and just art in general are so important because, in my opinion, they're this eternal proof that there's always hope for humanity, because every day massive amounts of individuals from hundreds of different social backgrounds, countries, ideologies are all coming together at a variety of different skill levels and going, guys, do you want to make something cool? And then doing it. If I sound sentimental, it's because I honestly live for this shit. You know, I thought that reviewing these 10 films back to back was going to be exhausting. That I was going to lose the joy for it, or miss one because I just couldn't be bothered one day. But it's been great. It's been a lot of work. A lot of them have been handwritten, so I don't know my total word count, but it's probably close to 30,000 going off the average of the ones I did digitally. 30,000 words in 10 days. And I've loved it. I've absolutely adored writing about these films and just talking about film technique and narrative and getting excited about movies, you know? Honestly, it sounds daft, but it's life affirming. Finding the time was super difficult, but the second I sit down and do these, it just feels so good to just be passionate about something. It reminds me every time how much I love films. Especially when covering something I can be inspired by, like the story of The Room just now, or something I really just am amazed at, like Baby Driver. When I get into that, it just makes me want to like write and direct something. And all your nice comments, especially ones where I've pitched ideas and stuff, it really makes me think I need to make something again. Maybe make something big this time. Could you imagine that? Oh, wow. You know, if I made like a film or something, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? That'd be real crazy.